Hey, hey, Rambo.
Hey, hey,
How's it going?
beautiful day here today. It's going well. When I see the sun, it just brings like life into me. And it
Oh,
does in
yeah.
people that I see as well in the street. People are out and look happy in the face and just nice to see.
Let the light back in. Yes, let there be
Yeah,
light. Yes,
good
yes,
to see.
yes.
Just see it in people's faces.
I definitely respond to the sunlight. There's that thing called SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which is the perfect acronym, a little too perfect if you ask me. But people develop depressions when they're deprived of sunlight and
Like, unmotivated, I think,
yeah,
without the sun out.
yeah,
I know we
yeah.
talk about the weather all the time, but it's affects it affects people when you're driving down the road and everyone just seems happy that like energy radiating off people because it's sunny.
Yeah. I think we're more like plants than we're ever led to believe. The whole photosynthesis process of taking sunlight and converting it into energy. They say plants, that's how they get their food. Yum, yum, yum. Love that light. But I think we do something like that too. And we're absorbing it through our skin, we're absorbing it through our eyes.
You
We're
can
taking
feel
in,
summer's nearly here.
yeah,
That's how it kind of, not that we get a big one, but
I'm
who
ready.
knows?
I'm
Turn it
ready.
on,
And the
turn it
sunlight's so
on.
interesting. Have you been seeing a lot of these explorations recently? I feel like they're just everywhere, but light as a physical material where
Yeah,
it
you
froze
mentioned it,
light.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've seen, there was one maybe a week ago or so, and it was something about how, physicists or scientists have frozen light for the very first time, light becoming a solid, trapped in time, blah, 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 blah. Which interesting, they say a diamond, the reason it sparkles is because that is light, is trapped light. So there's something kind of interesting about trapped light. But I think that I actually just completely forgot what I was saying entirely.
Talking about sun though,
Oh,
yeah, Sonny Williams,
good segue, Rambo. Thanks for saving that
Sonny
brain fart.
Williams coming from space. Yeah,
What do you think about this whole thing? It was
it's
shout out Gabrian
rubbish.
on the Realize Radio Discord. He had mentioned, he mentioned 9 months. It was 9 months that they were there. That feels
I've
like a
got that
birth.
in my notes. So
Good.
they were there. Crew 9 were there for 9 months. And this is just reading an article. And they've done 900 hours of research while they were up there.
Oh, really? Oh, really? They did? Well,
So
they
there's
had
just a
lots of
lot
time
of
on their hands.
nines up in there.
Yeah. And the 9 month, I mean, that's the conception to delivery time. Well, although pregnant women will tell you it's actually closer to 10 months. It's not 9 months; it's actually closer to 10. But for colloquialisms, we've always said 9 months having a baby, and it feels like it's really close to this thing we've been kicking around in the Discord a while. The idea of conception and delivery, and conception is not just about conceiving a baby, but an idea, to conceive an idea in the mind. And I think that this whole space farce, it's all about conceiving and planting and this conception of an idea of where we are in this world, of our place in this space, and if we believe in outer space, if we believe there's an infinite ever expanding universe out there, and we're just these little space, the micro dust floating in this vast expanse, it makes us feel real small. It makes us feel real nothing. And I think that the opposite of is true. I think they were actually quite big and quite mighty, and have like the largest footprint or
They've got
registered
power
thing in this.
somehow, but
Oh
it's
yeah,
all but just nothing.
yeah.
But are they making it? It just feels when I watch the videos of it, I just laugh. It's like, how can people? I don't know how is it because of our see the world? It just looks so
Cartoony.
fake. And then
Yeah.
this little thing landed in the sea, and they said, "Oh, it's surrounded
The
by
dolphins.
dolphins."
Yeah.
I was like, "Because it's getting any more of a joke?"
I know. That's Disney. That's like a Disney movie, where
Yeah.
it's like Snow White and the animals are all coming up to her. And
And they're blaming Biden for it. So like Biden abandoned by Biden, they're saying, aren't they?
yeah.
So Biden abandoned them, and then Elon Musk and Trump have.
Well, what's so interesting too, and we've kind of kicked this around. They were up there for quite some time, and there were long stretches, months and months and months, where we kind of collectively just forgot all about them.
We
It was
forgot about
like,
them the whole
are those
time,
guys still
really.
up there? It's not like we were watching on bated breath. while these astronauts, waited to be rescued. And the weird thing is, just back it up just 1 second, is, they were only supposed to be there for a very short stint. It
What,
was,
9 days?
probably Rambo. Exactly. There's your nine again. And yet they packed Christmas hats. Remember when they were doing all those photo shoots and they were wearing their little Christmas elf hats and stuff? And it's like, wait a second. There's supposedly limited resources, limited room, limited this, limited that. Oh, you only can take the necessities, and we're gonna run out of this, run out of that. But yet you decided to bring Christmas hats to a 9-day, excursion. It doesn't, that didn't make any sense. Like, unless, okay, but I'm trying to retrofit logic into this story, which is entirely nonsensical. And I think that at some point you just got to throw your hands up and go, it's all fucking fake. Like, there's
watch the video of it landing. Like, it looks like a Disney movie, and all the dolphins going around it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just laughable, really. It's hard to see it as real. Like, even if I try and take myself out of it for a minute and just go, how are people seeing this is real? I just can't. Like, no matter how much you've tried, can't see it.
Well, what's interesting too? Elon Musk shared the video of, I guess, them going to rescue, his little dragon rescue mobile, and that looked so fake. I mean, that just looked like the most discount cartoon space render that you could ask for. Just so fake. What was interesting about that is every single account was sharing that, saying how fake it looked. And that's what's notable to me too. It seemed to be almost too many accounts saying, hey, look how fake this is. We've almost kind of passed the Rubicon, jumped the shark, or it's like we're in the other side now.
Well, it is only on the internet again, because if you were to ask someone in the street, they'd say it was real.
I know, my mom's like, thank goodness they're being rescued. Those poor souls. Finally, 9 months. What a tragedy up there. Yeah. There's zero awareness that this could be wholly constructed. Oh, outer space. And the dragon element too. We just exited Year of the Dragon into the Year of the Snake. I feel like there's these little levels of symbolism. I saw that there's it might be one of y'all in the Discord, or someone sent to me. I think it was on the Discord. One of the pictures looked like a lizard man crawling out of the space capsule that plopped into the ocean. And I mean, just the imagery is comical. The imagery is inviting us to go, that doesn't feel right. The headline in the Daily Mail, and I love the Daily Mail for their headlines. God love them. But it was, there's no place like home. When they were showing Sunny reemerging from the little space pod, it said, no place like home. And I feel like that was a very pointed headline, because we are just on the heels of an emerald celebration. No place like home is a Wizard of Oz reference. Dorothy clicks her heels and while she's in Oz trying to escape. And, they had the St. Patrick's Day just yesterday, and that's all about the Emerald Isle and the whole, the whole story. I am not going to pretend that I know the entire story of the snakes out of Ireland, or do you know the St. Patty's Day story?
I don't know. I just see it as
barely,
people
just
drink
get drunk
on that day.
Let's get drunk and make some bad decisions. That seems to be the theme of the day. But yeah, I feel like there's just a lot of Oz coding right now. And Google, I just got an email this morning. Google acquired a company called Wizard of Oz. That's new, and I feel like, I mean, we're not in Kansas anymore, that's for sure.
I got sent a few things yesterday about Prince Charles being in critical condition, but I've not been able to find anything on it. I don't know why I thought, when you said wizard, I thought of Prince Charles. But then what I did see on it is, when I looked, he's on his way to visit the Pope so this Pope's been dying for the last month?
Yeah.
I was thinking, would they be saving it for April Fool's Day?
Oh, yeah. That would be right before
for the Pope's
Easter. A
death
little April Fool's. Wouldn't that be
joke.
perfect? Yeah.
It's
Wouldn't
like,
that be powerful and perfect? You know, when they released that photo of him, he's doing fine, and you couldn't see his face, and he was shrouded in purple. And I'm like, okay.
also on Paddy's Day, we had Conor McGregor at the White House.
Rambo,
Um,
you
you
called
remember
this.
when I said this?
Yeah. Okay, hold
So
on. I got to give a little credit where credit is due. Rambo, you called this many, 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 many,
that he's
many, many
going
moons
into
ago.
politics
Yep.
and he's going to be the Irish Prime Minister. Like I can
Yeah.
see it now. It's well after seeing that, it's kind of confirmed it to me really.
Yeah.
But
Was
the
that at
rape
the White
thing,
House? He was at the White House press room. Is that where he
yeah,
was?
yeah. Speaking
Mm.
about immigrants in Ireland.
Mm.
But again, a lot of comments about it didn't look like him and stuff like that. But I think he is one of those that is played by so many people, the Conor
Yeah.
McGregor guy. And his
Yeah.
tattoos are always different. So if you can go through his tattoos over the year, it's the same tattoo, but it's different.
Yeah.
And you can search up Conor McGregor body doubles where he's like going around one that stands out to me is he's going around Miami and hanging out of a car. And it turns out it wasn't even him, and people were like surrounding the car and getting pictures with him, and it wasn't even him. And he come out and said, "Oh no, it was just a prankster who was pretending to be him."
Yeah, they're all just pranksters. It's all one big prank.
But
Yeah, we did that exercise where we were looking at all of his pictures. If you just Google image search Conor McGregor, it'll spit you out just a bunch, and it's
so
over the years, and they all
different.
look like different guys. It looks like a different base character is playing him in many iterations. There's many iterations of that.
And he
Well,
had his
yeah.
rape thing, didn't it? And that's
Yes.
where it kind of set it off for me that he is going to be something more like. As the, like
Yeah.
say, you only get the legendary status when you get the rape status as well.
That's something that you've been on for a really long time
Yeah,
too,
there's
since the
so many.
beginning. Yeah, I mean, we've looked at it through we've looked at it through some from football players, and we've looked at it through, different celebrities, but that's something that you've always kind
Yeah.
of come back to is
So you've
these
got just to
humiliation
name a few,
rituals.
you've got like Kobe.
Yeah.
He's one in it. So
Yep.
Kobe was
Yep, he was accused of rape in that Colorado hotel in Linwood. Y'all remember Linwood, Lucius Linwood? He was also lawyer to John Benet Ramsey's parents. Linwood represented the accuser. He's all mixed up in
and he
that
went
one.
on to be a legend. Then you've got Mike Tyson,
Mike Tyson.
legend.
See, see, see.
Cristiano Ronaldo,
Mm-hmm.
legend.
Mm-hmm.
Diego Maradona, legend. All
Legend.
these are guys that have been done for rapes or been
Well, what
rewarded
about
after
Mason
it.
Greenwood too? He had that
Mason
whole thing.
Greenwood, he's now, although he has,
Mm.
so although he's not at United now, there's a buyback clause what makes him basically unsellable for the other team unless he's selling back to United.
Mm.
So he's currently having like the best season he's ever had.
Set up for
Um,
success. Yeah.
yeah, then there's Benzema. So Karim Benzema, a Real Madrid guy, he went on, so he got done for rape or accused of rape, and then he went on to win the best player in the world award, the Ballon d'Or.
Imagine that.
That's just after it. Like, so it's like they get rewarded for it.
Yeah. Well,
So
we talked about this too. It's the highs. It's not just the highs and the highs and the lows and the lows. It's the together. It's the joining together of the two. If you can go through, the humiliation ritual that creates, I feel like there's this energy collection with that negative energy, and then somehow these characters are able to hold both. They're able to have that extreme negativity and then be propelled into this extreme positivity. And that is like a powerful vortex. I mean, it's the polarity, it's harnessing the power of the opposites, the polar opposites. I feel like this together. I mean, I'm always reminded of Tom Hanks. On one side, he's beloved. On the other side, he's seen as a vicious pedivore. And to be able to hold both in the minds of the public, or to achieve both for Kobe, to be accused of rape, and then to be, within very short order, to be the king of the world in the sports arena. All of these, it
is it like a
adds to the
spell
power
on
of
the
the player.
public as
Yeah,
well? Like
yeah,
how they forget? Like it's just like
yes,
yesterday's news. If they're the best in their
yeah,
sport, or like with McGregor now, he's going to be Ireland's prime minister, and they're all going to love him for it.
yeah.
and everybody's going to love him for it, and he's going to do something. He's going to change a rule or change something that he'll be remembered forever by.
Mm.
And
Oh, that's what
that's
he's
where
gonna
he's going to
do.
get his
Yeah,
status. His legendary status will be what he does in that position. He'll
yeah.
be remembered
McGregor's law.
forever.
Yeah.
McGregor's law, yeah, something like that. He's coming for Conor McGregor.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, we've seen that before. It's funny. I'm reminded of like my chat many, many, many moons ago with The
yep.
Gentle Mentalist, and it was about the Eliza Fletcher case, which is a cool revisit. But, something I said in that conversation was there's going to be a law. There's going to be a law created from this case. It's going to be something called Liza's Law. Like, I could just read the tea leaves, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. These events and these characters usher in these new regulations and laws, and it just makes it feel more real. It gives it gravitas, it gives it prominence, it gives it a sense of solidity and reality, and it's all just manufactured.
Like
It's
in
all just
Ireland, they'd pulled all these beers from the bars. Like
mm,
they don't sell them, but like hundreds, they'll probably come back tenfold with new beers, and the old ones come back. When he becomes the
yeah. Those are going to be the most ordered beers in town, and they still have them just like waiting in the
yeah,
in the
yeah,
stock rooms,
they're ready
just
to
waiting
go.
until, yeah, just ready to go. Did you make it to, okay, so did you end up going to
I
Dublin?
went to Dublin again, and it didn't change my thoughts on the place. It really didn't.
You still think it's a little bit of a
It's a
a
dump.
dump?
Yeah, it is. It's not a nice place. I don't think so anyway. I don't think it's a nice place. Um,
Well, speaking of dump, the JFK files, they dumped those
yeah.
on us, and he's Irish. The Kennedys were Irish
So they
Catholic, so
dumped them
this
on St.
connects.
Paddy's Day as well.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah, how ironic, how perfect, how
So what are they
perfect.
actually saying? I've not really looked. I've just seen a few like
Nothing,
screenshots of pieces of paper and stuff. Like,
literally
what? When they
nothing.
say files, right, and they're releasing these files, they're making you believe, right, that in government offices they've got like filing cabinets full of
Yeah,
pieces of paper that
yeah.
with padlocks on that they're ready to release. When that's not what's going on. It's
Nothing, nothing was released. Literally nothing. If you look at any exploration, it will say, there's a couple of things. First of all, the volume is so much that any individual could never absorb it. It would be impossible. I think there's 80,000 plus pieces of documentation, quote unquote, documentation, using that very loosely because it's all
what they
just
talk
props.
about his death, how he actually died. Is that what they're saying?
Well,
How
no, who knows? You got to
who
get in there,
knows?
Rambo, and find out for yourself.
Read
But they
all
would
those 80,000 pieces of paper that they just had lots away in a
exactly.
filing cabinet somewhere.
And also this is nothing new. There's no new document that's been released. All of this has been released before. That's something that you will also find in these explorations. Little at the bottom of the article, it's going to tell you. And there's actually nothing new in here. It's all elements that have been pre-released. Same thing, and this is the same thing with the Epstein dump, the Epstein files. Like there was nothing in there. First of all, there was really nothing of substance in those releases. It was all just material that's been released before. That's it. It was just a collection of material that's been released before. There was nothing revolutionary, nothing revealing about that. The same thing with this Kennedy thing. And I've seen a lot of people saying, one individual can't absorb it all, but let's just feed it into AI and see what the AI says. The AI can absorb it all and tell us what it says. And I'm like, this whole thing is AI. The AI created these things to begin with.
Yeah, it created the
What kind
whole
of circular feeding
video.
tube are we? I mean, this is the snake eating its own tail. That by feeding the AI back to the AI, this is the Ouroboros right here. This is it. We are watching the tail be consumed
And you're
live.
not too far from there, are you? Was there any sort of memorial
I'm
or
in my
anything like
city.
that? Was there anything going on at the place where it happened? Was there
I
any?
did not skip down to Dealey Plaza to check things out, but there are always, yeah, by the crow flies, I'm about a mile away, a mile away from the X on the street and on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street,
Is
literally.
that what they've got like an X on the
Yep.
street? Is that
Rambo, we need to, oh my God, we need to do a Dallas meetup.
definitely?
We need to do a Dallas meetup and do it at the grassy knoll.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Wanted to see the
Yeah.
X on, like even the fact they put the X on the floor, it feels like some sort of like a theme park kind of feel like
Yeah.
a it's to tell the story in it. So
Yeah.
it's there like oh, this is where the exact spot he
Yeah.
was shot.
We need to do that. That would be
Like
so
the
fun.
the theories are it was like they still say, oh, it was the driver or
Hmm.
whatever. But what if it, like we've said loads of times, what if it was just nobody?
Nobody at all. Nothing. Nobody got shot that day. Literally a magician's trick. Literally just sleight of hand. No one died that day. Personally, I believe that the way that the parade route was set, there were bystanders, and I know people who are from Dallas and they're older, and they have said they stood along the parade route that day. And I've asked, well, where did you stand? And they were in downtown, but they were nowhere near this little trident. Truly, this where three streets conjoin into this little tri auto way. But then it goes into this. Yeah, it's truly a trident shape. It's quite remarkable. I feel like that whole little portion of the ride was a closed set, closed to the public. It would be very easy to do. Just
There's security and whatever and
yeah, yeah. And I don't think anybody was really there to
actors.
witness that portion of the parade that day. It'd be very easy to set it up to where they wouldn't. And it was just a trick. Everything else that we have seen from that is, the Zapruder film didn't get released until 10 years after, and that thing seems to change every couple of years. If you squint, it looks like Jackie did it. If you really squint, it looks like the driver did it.
Yeah, and has that changed? Does the video feel
It's
like
a
it's
little
changed
amorphous.
here?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, it
dream.
feels
It's
like
like a
it's
dream.
got
Yeah.
different over the years.
Yeah. And the frame 1001, shout out CGI folk. This is just like a co-discovery that we were kicking around way back when, early on Purples. Frame 001 of the Zapruder film, which rarely ever gets shown because there's not much action on it, but it's full purple. It's full purple. The frame is entirely purple. And you can just Google frame by frame Zapruder film, and it'll show you. It'll show you each frame. Yeah, it's full purples. I mean, the explanation there is, oh, it's what's called a film burn-in, and depending on the register of film, the type of film, that burn-in can be different color. It's that kind of like wasted shot at the beginning of a camera roll. This is film, but it
Because
kind of acts the
you
same.
only ever
But
see that part? Where was he parading? Why do we only see the part he was shot?
right, yeah, exactly. We don't see any other.
Was he
We don't see
parading all around
all
Dallas
around.
or
Yeah,
just
yeah. It was a it
on
was
that
a
street?
it was a pretty lengthy route. He paraded all around Dallas from a airport called Love Field. Love Field Airport. Landed there, got paraded through downtown. Um,
You
and
don't ever see. Is there even any other footage
there's
of
there's
anywhere
footage
else?
of him landing at the airport. Yeah. And what's interesting is this is something that, I mean, this was kind of really early in my purples exploration. The complete line of purples, and if you guys are new to that, there's lots of, just look at my Twitter for line of purples and start, sort it by latest and go to the bottom and begin at the beginning, I guess. But the full line of purples expression is, red on one side, far red on one side, and then, violet on the other, which is deepest blue, and then magenta in the center. So you have red, deep blue, like a navy, like the color of the ocean. Deepest blue is like the dark, almost black, like the ocean, and then magenta in the center. And what was Jackie wearing that day? She was wearing a magenta dress, carrying red roses, and wearing navy heels, carrying a navy handbag. So her outfit,
Did
her
it have the
outfit
black
was,
thing? I can't remember.
she had a trim on her coat that was a
Yeah.
black trim on her magenta pantsuit or dress suit, skirt suit, and which was interesting because, many women will appreciate this. You don't mix navy and blacks together, honey. You don't do it. And so she had this black trim on her magenta outfit, and then blue shoes. Didn't quite match unless she was going for something a little different, a different type of color scheme, if you know what I mean. I think she was and she wasn't even meant to have red roses. She was meant to have yellow roses to represent Texas, the yellow rose of Texas. It's kind of a Texas thing. Interesting. Yeah, she would have received yellow roses. That's That's
And then
protocol.
Hillary wore that suit as well, was her? I did
She
see
wore a
her.
similar one, and Haiti, that Haiti video
Yeah.
where her face kind of comes off, and it's very, and that is not an allusion to frazzle drip. That is not an allusion to frazzle drip. Her face coming
So
off was more of like an overlay. Yeah, you can kind of see that it's a body with an overlay face at some points in that video. Her and
I
George
see the little
Soros
part
together.
of the like I don't know what it is. A screenshot of the files where it says Hillary. I've seen enough for Hillary Clinton to be arrested. I've seen that shared quite a bit.
If I had $1, Rambo,
Every time, yeah, that you heard
I
Hillary's going to be
swear.
arrested.
I swear. In the whole JFK thing, I kind of got on a little tear last night where I was just going back through my old JFK stuff and resharing. And I just, we've got to crawl out of the hole ourselves. Like all of us. We dug ourselves down these rabbit holes. We willing, there was a little bit pre-dug for us, and we willingly fell down. And then we dug for ourselves. We just kept digging in these conspiracy theories. And at some point, we have to turn around and find our way out. We have to crawl out of these deeply excavated holes.
What
And
got
just
me with
get
it is
out.
the censorship of stuff. So like everything
That's a
is
ploy.
censored
This is something fun.
apart from JFK. Like so I could go outside now and actually just hurt myself and video the cut on my leg or whatever.
Yeah,
And that'd get censored.
right.
But then you can still watch that. You can
You
watch
can
it in
watch his
slow
head
motion.
explode over and over and over and over with like brain matter just going kablooey all over the show. And yet, yeah, if I were to prick my finger and blood came out, that would be sensitive material warning on Insta,
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. They won't let you post it.
No, graphic warning. Would you like to continue? Yes, please.
That's what kind of did it for me, is the censorship of stuff. And
And that makes it feel more real too. Well, in a way, okay, so the censorship is one thing, because some things that
there's no censorship of that, though.
yeah, and then the things that are quote unquote censored, the things that, when they put black all over it and everything's redacted this, redacted that, censored this, censored that. I think that is just another level of the deception. It's like it's false censorship. It's kind of creating this idea that there is something to hide, that there is something being censored, that there is something secretive and worthy of this great tightly held privacy element, this layer of secrecy over everything, the shroud of secrecy. It's like sub rosa, under the guise of secrecy. That makes it feel more real. I mean, all of these are just gestures to make these deceptions feel concrete and real in our mind, because it's the public is like, oh yeah, the secret classified documents, there must be something.
Files.
Yeah.
So we've heard a lot about files, haven't we? It's like last
Let me
week
look
or
at
the week before it was.
Let me look at the
release
etymology of
Epstein
files.
Now we're getting
Let's see. What is the
these
etymology of
files.
file? Okay. The etymology of file is thread string. Oh no. To spin thread from fil. Oh my God. To spin thread. This is spin. Like this is, it goes back to weaving, the weaving of this kind of blanket of deception that is shrouding our collective consciousness.
And even him himself didn't look
spin.
real, did he? Like
No, he looked like a wax figure.
Pictures where he was just like,
I mean, every picture of Kennedy looks like a googly-eyed mannequin.
what happened to the John Kennedy? What's the other one? What was he
RFK?
called?
Robert?
RFK, who
Yeah.
was running, who was supposed to come back, and is he dead and all that? You don't ever hear much of that much anymore on
Bobby
Twitter or
Kennedy.
anything.
Bobby Kennedy,
The one
who
who
was
died in it, didn't he?
the
Supposedly die in
Ambassador
a plane crash?
Hotel. No, Bobby Kennedy. Oh, no. Oh, we're thinking of different ones. Sorry, I was thinking of Bobby Kennedy, JFK's brother, who also got shot. You were talking about JFK Jr.
Yeah, that's
JFK
I forgot about him
Jr.
because I've not heard of him that as that
Yeah.
for that long. But
But the
in
Bobby Kennedy, just
2020,
real quick, he got quote unquote shot in the back of the Ambassador Hotel, and the photographer who took that kill shot just so happened to be the same photographer who was on the ground right by the Twin Towers on September 11th, capturing Falling Man. The most iconic image of potentially our lifetime, Falling Man. You know, he's so serenely just cascading downward as if he's, as if he's just there's like this almost placidity to his face. It's so beautiful. It's like he's accepting this fate, and he's got those hangman legs, the hanged man. But there's something so strange and subversive about that image, and it just happened to be the same guy. I mean, what are the odds, Rambo, that this Richard Drew, or I think that's his name, Richard Drew, just happened to be positioned in the Ambassador Hotel kitchen, not even the hotel,
is he a
but not.
photographer or an artist? Because
Great point.
did he draw it?
Yeah. Yeah. What are the odds though? I mean, that's one of those things where you ask, what are the odds? The odds are 100%. The odds are
and
100%.
it's like I was saying a minute ago, like how is it that he's always caught on camera? So he's driving all around Dallas and nobody filmed it apart from the bit where he got shot. Then then it was on film. Like the rest of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
nobody got the
and it
cameras
didn't come
out.
out till 10 years later. The Zapruder film was
But
not
did that
released.
film not come out till 10 years
10 years
after it
after.
happened?
Yeah.
And
So
what was the reason for the release of that? Like, was it for a
they had to
reason
create
that
it. They had to render it. It took a while to render. Frame by frame. You got to render that thing frame by frame. Let's start with purple. It is just bullshit. And what was that Bob Dylan song? The greatest Bob Dylan song about the assassin. I'm going to read you a line from this Bob Dylan song. Murder Most Foul is the name of the song. Okay, I'm just going to read this first little
Is
bit.
it a really long song, if I remember?
It's a pretty long song. Okay, let me, okay. We'll mock you and shock you and we'll put it in your face. That's one line. The day they blew out the brains of the king, thousands were watching, no one saw a thing. Right?
Telling you.
Right? It happened so quickly, so quick by surprise, right there in front of everyone's eyes. Greatest magic trick under the sun, perfectly executed, skillfully done. That is everything we need to know. That is every single thing we need
Just told
to
us, yeah.
know.
When was that song released? Like
2020.
Right. Oh, right. So
2020, clear vision.
and they had remember
Hindsight.
there was talk of like I remember when it
Hindsight's
first
2020.
and it's like the Umbrella Man and there was the Umbrella Man and then there was the Manchurian Candidate. That's like another
Yeah, an umbrella.
variant. Is a Manchurian Candidate, did it?
And what does the umbrella signify? I think umbrella is a signification. I mean, umbra, the darkest portion of a shadow. I think the umbrella is simply a nod to the shadow work, the deception play, the work,
It's like a David
sub rosa work
Blaine
done in secret.
trick. But then when you say Manchurian Candidate, I read that as like a mind control.
Yeah.
So I'd say we're all a Manchurian Candidate in this case.
Yeah,
Like,
we have been
to
mind
believe
controlled.
it, you know.
Yeah,
It kind of
we've been
feels.
conditioned to believe the trick. We can't, for some reason, we can't quite. It's the vantage point. I think when you're sitting in the audience of a magician's trick, you're positioned to where you will not, if the magician is quite deft and good at what he's doing, you're not in a vantage point to be able to see where the trickery is taking place. It's going to be underneath his sleeve or in the other hand, look over here, not over here, sort of thing. And I think what needs to happen is a new vantage point, a new perspective is required to see the trick for what it is. Right now, too many people are perfectly comfortable seated in the audience of the magician's show. And there's more and more who are getting out of their seats and saying, hang on a second. And, maybe standing at the back of the theater, or maybe making their ways to the wings of the theater, and they're seeing it from a different positioning. And I think this mindset, this lens through which we see these things as a trick is the new perspective, is the new vantage point. It's not a physical location from which to stand. It's a mental recognition. And then everything's seen differently. All the things we go back and look at, it's just, it gives us a new perspective.
And as time's gone on, it's moved more into that it was someone who shot. Still nobody saying it didn't even happen, really.
Nobody's saying that. And I keep saying we're asking the wrong question. The question is not who shot JFK. That's not the question. And if that is the question, then we're going down an entirely false path, an entirely pre-constructed rabbit hole for us to go down. The question is, how did they pull off this trick for so long? That's the question. How did they fool us for so long?
Like you say, so it happened, then the video was 10 years later, and then ever since the theories have been coming, but years after years after.
So we've got like the CIA did it because they wanted Kennedy out, or the Cubans did it because of the Bay of Pigs fiasco, or there's Jackie did it. If you squint hard enough, he just looks just about like Jackie put a little revolver underneath his chin and pressed bang bang, and then his little pumpkin head explodes all over town. It's meant to baffle, it's meant to befuddle, it's meant to, we're never meant to have clarity. This goes
there's
everything.
No clear answer on who it.
Zero resolution.
Sort of unsolvables that you talk about, that's what it is. It's meant to be unsolved.
That's right. And I think that is something that should be, it should be observed. These unsolved mysteries, these unsolved, these zero resolution stories, we need to accept and appreciate that they were designed that way. They're only unsolved because they were designed to be unsolvable. That's your John Bonet. That's your Maddie McCann. I mean, I'm of course dipping into my little arena of things, but it's everything. It's all of the things that it's even how they build the pyramids. It's just like Diana. Who was it? What service did the queen use to take out Diana? We're never gonna have clarity on that. It's meant to trap us. It's meant to trap our attention and collect our focus.
And release a little bit in a few years, and another little bit in a few years, and keep it going.
Yeah. It's like bait on a lure. It's like a commercial fishing operation with all these lures and hooks in the water, and then it's just hooking us right and left over time, and they'll throw out another one. They'll throw out another line with a different, amalgamation of hooks. It
had to be like the open top and everything, so you could see.
Yeah.
So everyone must have been able to see it, and. Yeah.
And I feel like we're back to the Pope because he has that Pope mobile, which has all the the assassination proof.
The Pope, yeah. So there was all this. He was going to die on the 3rd of March, and then it just never ending. I wouldn't be surprised if they save it for the April Fool's Day. For the Pope.
I think that you're onto something with that. I think that you're absolutely onto something with. It's going to be. It's an impactful date. It's a very powerful date. And I think we're going to see something go down. And then, it'll be very interesting. I mentioned this on a previous episode, and I need to brush up on some of the language elements.
How old is it?
The Pope?
Yeah.
Let's find out. How old is the Pope? 88. 88 years old. 88 years old. He's from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Yeah. He gonna die. He gonna die soon.
And then what? Do you just put, where did he get the next pope from?
Oh my
Did he
gosh,
just,
there's so much ceremony, and I'm actually very excited if this were to
how do you
happen.
apply? Like,
I'd like to submit a resume.
just on Indeed.com.
Yeah, Indeed.com.
You have to have been through many acting
Ugh.
schools.
Yeah. Oh my God. But
Why? And it's always
there's a
a
lot of cool
really
and they
old
do the
guy.
they do the smoke, the colored smoke that comes out of the chimneys whenever they've chosen the pope. And there's all this really cool language around the new pope selection process. And I think that there is just going to be a very fruitful linguistic exercise coming up. One, if this does come to fruition, if the pope does fail to make it, that's all signs are pointing to that. We're about to have a really cool vocabulary lesson. All the language around anointing a new pope, deciding on the new pope, the conclave, all that stuff. There's a lot of really cool, juicy language. And we're in a Jubilee year. This is a very, very, very important year for the Catholic Church. It happens, once every, couple of decades. There is this year of great forgiveness. It's a year. I mean, if you need to get shit right, this is the year to do it. And I don't think that it needs to go through a church. I don't think that you need to have a priest bless you. I think that this is, maybe theoretically, this is one of those years where you can have a personal revolution. You can have a personal about face. I think that we can change, we can do better, we can make decisions to live life in a different way. And I think we can be like absolved of some of our past oopsies and mistakes. I carry around a lot of guilt for things from my past. I don't have to go into it too deeply, but I've done some shit. I've wronged some peeps in ways, and I've gotten away with some stuff. I've done some dirties, and I've gotten away with it, and I've kind of held that. You never really get away with anything. You really don't. It'll weigh on you, and it'll carry with you. And there's some things that I've kind of carried around. I've kind of carried some baggage, and I'm realizing that that's not going to serve me. I actually just need to, let it go. We've talked about the importance of letting go baggage and kind of do and be different. And that's the way forward. And I think that this is kind of a year, it's being packaged and, oh, it's something with the Catholic Church and, oh, you got to go through your priest and get whatever, blah, 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 blah. But I think there are certain times in life where we have an opportunity to turn it all around for ourselves. Vanilla Sky has this one quote: every passing moment is the opportunity to turn it all around. And I believe that. I believe that we can, this idea of grand forgiveness. Again, the call is coming from inside the house. We have to forgive ourselves. Everyone's made mistakes. We've all done some dirty. We've all been there, done that. And everyone's got things that they're carrying around. And I wish shoulda, coulda, woulda, but in reverse. And we got to let that go. And maybe this is a year. Maybe we are about to go through something so turbulent. So, we're about to, I'm thinking back to all this plane stuff, but the idea of leaving your baggage behind has been so big in the news with all these plane issues. And I feel like it has to be connected, the leaving your baggage behind. And we're in a Jubilee year, which is a year of kind of forgiveness. And I don't know. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, y'all, but I feel like it's all connected. And, I think we need to lighten our load. We need to lighten our psychic and spiritual load. And part of
Shed
that
our
lightning,
skins in the year of the snake.
shed those skins in the year of the snake, exactly. And actually, it's so funny because I started this year doing exactly that. I got that monster sunburn and my entire body peeled, head to toe. I was truly a snake moment. But also, part of our baggage, part of our psychic and spiritual baggage, are these conspiracy theories. The who shot JFKs. That is an albatross. A rotting, stinking carcass wrung around the neck of the collective conscious.
Is everyone
for
meant to get out of it? Because I feel like
Probably
some
not.
people just are never going to get out of it.
Yeah. We're back to the
I'm
sensitive
talking
NPC,
about on Twitter, really. Like, it's like the same
what a
stuff.
wasteland. Oh
It's
my God, what
great.
a waste.
Twitter, I don't believe now. I think there's only about 10 real people on it. I used to think 1,000. I'm going to go for 10.
10.
Like,
There's
there's not a
tens of
lot.
us. I used to say that about Realize Radio. Now we have hundreds actually, but back in the day I used to say there's tens of us.
Yeah. There's not a lot of real people. There's way less than we think, way less.
Yeah.
Because it's just the same. Every account is posting the same stuff. Like, even now about these JFK files,
I know, it's
the
the same
same
bullshit.
stuff being posted over and over again. But it's
Yeah.
not just over and over again from now, it's over and over again from 2020.
I
Like,
know.
but back then, that it didn't have that feel to it, what it does now. Like, there's
Mm.
just nothing to it. Like, it's empty, like
Yeah.
fully an empty site. But then we're being told it's growing. It's where we get the news. We're the news. It's getting bigger and bigger, but it's definitely not. I still don't know anyone in real life who does it.
Thanks, Elon. Another character, another grand character, and he's wrapped up in literally everything we've discussed today. You
He's
know,
wrapped
the
up in
SpaceX,
everything
everything.
nowadays.
I think if we had an Oz, if we have a great and powerful Oz-like figure, and again, it's just a little man pulling some doodads behind the curtain. There is nothing great nor powerful about this Oz character. It's all facade. It feels like Elon. It feels like he's behind the curtain pulling the little levers in quite a few arenas at the moment. He's Mr. Space. He's Mr. Government. You know, space and government are two he's Mr. Transportation. Ground, you know, by land or by air. You know, he's Mr. Car Guy.
It's the internet. He is
Yeah, he's
Mr.
now Mr.
Social Media.
Internet. Yeah. He's got his little finger in every pie there is, you know?
Because I've heard a few people say, "Oh, he's going to be like a politician soon." I wouldn't be surprised. Like I say, if Conor McGregor can be one, and the Tates are running for it in the UK and stuff.
Well, you know what's interesting? Elon's on top of Doge, theoretically, but there's actually, if you look up who is the administrator of Doge, who is the person in charge of Doge, it's a woman. It's a different person altogether. And then if you read into that, they actually did that strategically because they didn't want Elon to be in an official capacity. But if you really if you really do some deducing, Elon isn't a real person. Has no real. Elon can't hold a governmental
Is
job.
he
You know,
someone who anyone who's listening has ever met or been like? Do you know what I mean? Is he someone who appears anywhere? Like,
well, I know people
does
that
he
work at
make
SpaceX, and I'm sure they've seen some sort of
public
Yahoo and
appearances?
sunglasses waving at them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sure
does
there's
he
been a body
do
double.
appearances? Do people have selfies with him and stuff like that? Because you never really see him having selfies with anybody, do you?
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And I mean, he's just now jumping up and down on stage, and that seems to be his thing to
On
do.
screen.
On screen,
Jumping up and down
exactly.
on screen. Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. You know, and I'm trying to look for it, but um, there was someone on Twitter that was, or on Discord that was talking about how, oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah. Again, hey, shout out Gabriel. He's been posting a lot of good stuff on Discord. But last week he mentioned that last week we had Elon Musk getting exposed, quote unquote, for lying about being one of the world's best gamers. Remember that? Remember he was like, I'm the world's best gamer. And then looking into that, it looked like there were just multiple accounts all playing under his name and it wasn't at all him. So he got exposed for lying about that. But then I was like, this reminds me of something. And, back in 2022, I remember there was this whole thing about, Elon Musk lying about his educational background. He said he had a BS in physics, a BS, literally. He said he had a BS in physics,
Yes.
or he had a PhD in sciences. And, if you look into that's all completely false. He had none of those things. And, it's just like the JumpinA case. If you just start looking into the details, it all falls apart like a $3 watch. This onion is not multi-layered. There's just like one good layer on the out, and he's just a fictional character. And his background was entirely it's entirely fabricated. How he,
PayPal money.
and even this story of him dropping out of school. Oh, well, you can't find his records because he dropped out. Even that element is part of the fiction. There's all these little escape clauses and things like
Like
that.
his
Well, like,
famous picture with Ghislaine. He's got
right.
that what
And she's
everybody
wearing a purple
shares.
dress. And she's wearing a purple
Yeah,
dress.
yeah. Is
Yeah.
that though? Like, so no, the same people that think he's a hero share that picture like he's also
Yeah.
the pedo. But then is that picture to make him more real, like more
Yeah.
that he's
I- for the-
involved with the elites?
It's to, it's to whip the conspiracy crowd into a frenzy. But again, if you have the correct vantage point and you're able to see that photo of Ghislaine, Jizz Lane, sex trafficker, Jizz Lane is, I just can't. Lane being a
Victim
road.
Virginia.
But it's just like these characters can only exist in each other's small universe. This very, very, that I've said for a long time, the pool of deception may appear vast and wide, but once you wade into it, you realize it's remarkably shallow. Remarkably shallow. All of these characters exist in each other's little wading pool. And it's no surprise that Elon's in the picture with Ghislaine. And it's also no surprise to me that Ghislaine is in Ghislaine's in the background of that JonBenet Ramsey little Dutch girl picture, that image that weirdly happens to look exactly like a picture that I have from my childhood dressed up in a little Dutch girl outfit. Just another one of the ever evolving weirdness of the JonBenet saga. But I think that it's all interconnected. Again, back to what was the word we looked at? Files, and it means thread, right? Weaving and thread and threading.
Yeah.
It's all part of this fabric of deception. It's all interwoven, finally interwoven together.
It is to strengthen it though, isn't it? It strengthens
Yeah.
it by if they link up like Elon and all these pictures who she's with and
Yeah. Well, theoretically, it strengthens it. But for me,
yeah, weakens it.
I go, characters in the same shallow pond, just inherent shallowness, inherent nothingness. I mean, it's just like the the files released. There's an inherent nothingness. Yes, it's 80,000 documents, but there's nothing in there. Nothing.
Just
Nothing.
a lot of time.
Yeah, that's what's in
If you
there.
wanted to go
Your
into it
precious
and-
time and attention.
Really though, these documents are just on the internet. Again, there is no document.
Even
written
document.
by ChatGPT.
Mental, mint is of the mind. I'm gonna look up the etymology of document. This is, you guys, I just can't get enough. Okay, dossier, to teach, so doc, and then mint of the mind, mental, something there. I
So
feel
you was away, weren't you? How was your trip?
also from dossier, to show. Cause to know. Oh, this relates to something I wrote down. I only wrote down a few notes. The word tariff, I was looking at that recently. The word tariff is from, I think it's Farsi, but it comes from the word to be able to know, to come to light, to be able to recognize, to be able to find out. Tarif is where tariff comes from. And then here we are with document, to show, to teach, to cause to know, to make to appear right, document. I feel like all of this is swirling around an inevitable awakening. Like, we're already in it. We're in some sort
even
of
more so.
we're in a minority.
Like you said,
But
something bigger to happen to.
I just think more people are going to see. And to your point, Rambo, I don't think it's everyone. That's meant to see. But I think those that are capable will soon. Many are, and the rest will. And I think it's inevitable. I think it's fait accompli. I think it always was going to happen. And this is kind of a grand thesis I've had for a good long while, since day dot, as Rainbow says. The spell is powered by our belief. That's how this place works. The magic trick only works when we believe, when we believe in it. And the more we pull our belief from this grand illusion, the spell diminishes. The power of the spell, so too, is pulled. And I think more and more and more and more are pulling their belief from the system. And it's starting to look pretty darn cartoony. It's starting to look, the magic, it's a discount. Again, we're like back to, it ain't that good, and it ain't that deft anymore. And I think that those that have the capacity will get there very soon. And some already are. Many already are. I get, little messages every day. People starting to, just starting to connect some dots, and it's just making more, this way of seeing the world, even though it's radical and even though it's a little crazy, from the outside in, it actually allows for a sense of clarity, a sense of resolution, a sense of terra firma, firm ground onto which to continue to build, which is the opposite of this zero resolution, always shifting landscape beneath our feet, never able to have stability because it's always a switcheroo. Believe this, believe that, believe here. Oh, here, this theory, that theory. Oh, the CIA did it. Oh, it's always something. Oh, Jackie did it. It's always something. We're never meant to have solid footing. And I think that there is something about this way, this radical new approach. Well, I mean, it's not that new. It's, all these years in the making now, Rambo. Hey, Rambo, 5 years. Wee. But, it does offer some sense of clarity, it may not give us the answers to the universe, sure, or, there's still have plenty of questions, but it does help cut through the noise and nonsense, and I think that's what we're meant to do. I think we're meant to cut through all the noise and nonsense, which is aplenty, absolutely everywhere. We're meant to slice right through that. And once we no longer are giving all of our focused attention, all of our energy to these constructs, to these, fairy tales, I think that we are able to first retain that energy, first retain that precious focused attention. And then we're able to, to shine it elsewhere, and other areas of our life will begin to make more sense.
And let go of the baggage of
that's it, Rambo. We gotta let go of that baggage. We gotta let go of the baggage to exit the ride. That's the only way to quickly and easily exit the ride. You gotta leave your baggage behind. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I packed very light on my trip to Panama.
How was your trip? Yeah.
Very good. I'll have to. I have some little facts about the Panama Canal, stuff like that we could get to in another episode. But it was a really wonderful trip. I'd always wanted to see the Panama Canal. I'd always wanted to see. I mean, it's been one of those engineering, architectural, man-made feats that have boggled the mind for eons now, for millennia. It's been over 100 years since that thing got dug out, and the story, the official story, is another one of those mind-boggling things. I do not believe the official story. It's in the same category for me as the Egyptian pyramids. Don't believe the official narrative of how those things got developed. So we'll have to. Oh, we've already gone. Oh my gosh, we've already gone an hour. We'll have to do that on another
Flew by.
day. It did fly by. This was a good one, Rambo. Glad to. And now I'm off. I got to travel again. I'm traveling for work. I'm going to be gone for another 5 days. I got to go to multiple cities for a work thing. Ooh.
Busy times.
No rest for the weary, but I'll be back. I'll be back just in time for next week's episode. So we'll catch up. We'll catch up next week. All right, Rambo, this was a great one.
Good
Talk
trip.
soon.